So today I'm using the new flash bracket that I got. Now I got that really inexpensive one and it worked just fine. Don't get me wrong. I think it was like 12 or $13 on Amazon. And I'll leave you the link for that first one. This is another one that I tried. I really love using flash brackets. So I wanted to get a really good one. And at the price of this thing, I was kind of thinking I'm going to hate this for the price. But once I got it and started using it, I really love it. It is a very smooth operating, it is a wonderful flash bracket, but at the price, I don't know if I would recommend it to everyone unless you're going to use it a lot. I'm going to use this a lot, so I don't mind the purchase. Now, obviously, it's going to add some weight. This is very lightweight aluminum, but it's still a lot of aluminum, so it does add some weight. But I love the way this operates and how well it operates. It's just a great unit. So today we're going to use this flash bracket with a second light. I love this on its own for events when you're bringing the ambient light. And, you know, for a lot of shoots, this is just fine on its own. But I wanted to bring that, dimension in. So I'm going to use a second Speedlight, this is a nice little portable studio all in one. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not easy. You have to work a little bit for this, but I keep this one in manual and this one in manual 90% of the shoot. I did put this in TTL a couple times, but I wanted more control. And, the TTL works great with the Sonys, but on a side light or a rim light or a backlight, I never use TTL because it's just too confusing for the camera. This in TTL works just fine a lot of the times, but if you want complete control throughout the shoot, keep it in manual. But we're going to use the Magmod grid on this and the Magmod gels just to give you some different ideas and different looks with the second light in the Speedlight setup. Anyway, if you have any questions, leave them below. Let's get to the shoot and see how we do. Okay, so we're in a dark corner of the building here. I just wanted to show you this print. It's a gigantic print. This was shot on the Fujifilm X Pro 3. That is a 26 megapixel crop sensor. I used an old Cron lens. I think it was the 50 Cron. Love that setup. But that is a huge print shot with a crop sensor. So every time somebody says, oh, they're not good enough, it's good enough. I just love that print. And that dress was extremely heavy. And that model jumped almost 50 times to get that shot. So I just want to add that in there because I do love that print. Anyway, getting to the shoot at hand, I'm using the Sony HVL-F46 on the bracket. And I'm using the Sony HVL-28 on the stand. Love both these flashes. Yeah, somebody made a comment because I've been using the Godox flashes. Would you get rid of your Sonys? I'm like, no, I'm never getting rid of my Sonys. I love these flashes. They work great. And the 46 is extremely small and lightweight, but has, the power that I need for an event. This is a great event setup with that flash on a bracket because it is lightweight. Anyway, so I'm going to show you the first shot here. This is just the one flash off the bracket. And you can see it's kind of dead. That black wall on the side, it's just not the best image. So adding that second light is going to help this so much. It's going to give some kind of dimension to the photo, which it desperately needs. Now, I'm going to fan it just a little bit towards her so I can get a little bit of light on her hair and on the back wall at the same time. And she's close enough to be able to do that. And I do have the grid on here, so, she would have to be. But you can see it's outlining her hair just a touch and then giving some light to that back wall. And it gives the separation and the look that I was looking for. Moving her over into the lighter wall, it does help, but that one side would just be lost, especially because of the black jacket without that flash. Adding the flash is going to help so much, for the whole thing. I could have actually turned it up just a hair, but you can see where it's going a hair light on that hair. So it would have been a tough call because of the contrast between the hair being a little lighter and the extreme black jacket. Now I'm just going to throw a red gel on this flash. Now I'm using the 28, so it's a lot smaller. So I don't know if you noticed in the beginning in the intro video that that grid actually fell off the flash because I had it on just not on correctly. You have to squeeze it just a little bit because this flash head is so small for that Magmod system, but it still works. And these gels are the Magmod gels, and only one side's going to clip completely because it's such a small flash. On the 46, it would work fine. Now I have that light a little too hot on her hair. You can see that the red is really coming through, but I didn't have any room to back up either. So I moved to another wall. I'm going to drop down I'm going to make the Kelvin temperature warmer, so it's a warmer look. Otherwise, this wall always comes out a little gray. So by doing that, I don't have to worry about it in post. Again, you can do it in post, but why not just, drop down your Kelvin? Now, this backlight and this hair light it's working great, but you see the crown of her head? That light should have been up higher and it should have been pointed down more, so I could have got the crown of her head too. So now, here's the hair light again, and this is the wrong place to use a hair light. So it doesn't always have to be a hair light for your images. You can see the shadow. It's just not working. It's dead in the back. So the only thing I have to do now is, instead of using it as a hair light, I'm going to switch this over to a backlight. I'm going to light the wall behind her and get my separation that way versus, lighting her hair. And this is a lot of fun. You can do so much with this. You can streak it, but past her. You can angle it more so it goes down the wall more. But I just want to show you the different looks you can get with this and see the separation you can get. Obviously, you're not going to get that shine on her hair, but because of the separation with the wall there, it still looks great. And it's a nice look. Now, I'm going to throw the grid on it as well. Not for this shot, for the next one. And you're going to see, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to create even a little bit more separation and more depth. So this is without the grid. I'm going to add the grid, and the depth is going to come from me giving a little bit of separation. So, she's going to be lit by the camera right now, and then I'm going to have a little darker spot, and then that spot behind her from the grid light. It gives dimension to the photo and depth to the photo. So it's a nice way to do it. Now, this last one is, again, another mistake. So the first one is, just the camera light itself. It's kind of harsh. It's kind of like dead in the side. There's nothing there. So I'm going to throw this light on with a blue grid or a blue gel now and see how it looks. Definitely, it could have been brighter. It should have been brighter. It would have gave me more separation with her hair, but, again, mistakes. Now, I can fix this in post, but I want to show you out of the camera what this looks like versus every image being perfect. They're not all perfect. Now, in studio, again, I'll start with the one light. It's a nice photo. If I did some post-processing on it, add a little bit of color to this, because I changed my Kelvin a little bit again, it would have been better. But out of camera, I want you to see this stuff so you know what it looks like in real life. Now, I'm going to raise this light up again, use it as a hair light. It's going to give dimension. I'm going to have fall off because the backdrop's, a little bit further away, but it's still going to give me a nice look and a nice light. Now, this is in TTL. That's the problem right there. The camera can't read a backlight in TTL. It's impossible. It's reading the front light and telling the front light what to do. And the biggest problem with that is that backlight will disrupt the TTL in the front light. Now, I'm using the front light in manual, so it didn't bother mine. But here's a better look. I switched it to manual, adjusted it to 1/8 power. I have my main light at 1/4. It's working fine. It's giving me the look that I want. And hair lights do so much. Unless they have frizzy hair, then you could have a problem because you have some post-processing to worry about with that, the frizzy hair is going all over. Now I'm going to turn this 28 over and I'm going to use it as a main light. Yes, it's going to be small. Yes, it's going to be, harsh shadows. But I can correct that a little bit with the on flash or on camera flash or the on bracket flash in this case. So, I'm going to turn up the 28 to 1/4 and I'm going to take the flash on the camera down to 1/16. It's just going to add a little bit of fill for those shadows. They're still going to be harsh, but again, that's the look I like. But you can play with this as well. You can actually, boost that flash up on camera just a little bit more. Now, remember, all these looks, you don't need a bracket for these. You can use this right on camera. It's going to give you almost the same look. Still great looks. But I like this. I like the way it came out, and I think it's a great image. Anyway, thanks for watching as always. If you have any questions, please leave them below. I'll be glad to answer them. But yeah, again, I'll leave the link for this bracket, but the cheap ones work just as well.